Deion Sanders, head coach of the University of Colorado football team, is making headlines not just for his team's performance but for his blunt critique of late kickoff times. As the Buffaloes prepare for a home game against Kansas State on Saturday, Sanders took to the airwaves to express his frustration with the 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:15 p.m. MT, start time, calling it stupid, and criticizing the impact of late-night games on players and viewers. Speaking on the Colorado Football Coaches Show, Sanders questioned who holds the authority to schedule games at such late hours. "Who does that?" he asked, expressing disbelief that anyone would intentionally set a game start time for 8:15 p.m. local. The show's host, Mark Johnson, reminded him that television networks like ESPN typically make these decisions, aiming to maximize viewership and advertising revenue. Sanders, however, didn't hold back, arguing that late games actually detract from fan engagement, particularly on the East Coast, where many people may already be in bed by the time the game airs. "This is what happens when you've got a program that everyone wants to see," Johnson added, pointing out Colorado's rising popularity since Sanders took over as head coach. But Sanders remained firm in his stance, questioning the wisdom of late kickoffs from a viewership perspective. "You're thinking about eyeballs. You're thinking about selling merchandise on the commercials. You're thinking about all that," Sanders said. "Why would you do that at that time when half of America is asleep?" Colorado's game against Kansas State won't be the Buffaloes' first late-night game this season. In fact, 4 of their first 5 games have started at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time or later, a trend Sanders hoped would change with Colorado's recent move from the Pac-12 to the Big 12 Conference. One of those games, a late-night matchup with Colorado State last year, extended well into the early morning hours on the East Coast, yet drew a record-breaking 9.3 million viewers. It became the most-watched late game in ESPN's history, reinforcing the network's strategy of scheduling popular teams in prime time, even if it means a late start for viewers across much of the country. ESPN's programming decision is part of a broader strategy to fill its late-time slots with high-demand teams, especially with the recent realignment of conferences and the shift of Western teams out of the Pac-12 and into leagues based in earlier time zones. Colorado has emerged as one of the biggest draws in college football this season, ranking 10th nationally in average viewership with about 4.3 million viewers per game through the first 5 weeks of the season, according to data shared by the university. The frustration over late games goes beyond just a minor inconvenience for Sanders, who shared that 8:15 p.m. is usually his bedtime. He humorously remarked that he plans to take a nap before the game to help him stay energized for the late kickoff. For him, the timing isn't ideal for players or for fans who follow the team closely. While the Big 12 Conference and television networks like ESPN view these late-time slots as a way to capitalize on Colorado's popularity, Sanders' comments have sparked debate on the balance between maximizing viewership and accommodating the well-being of players, coaches, and fans. As Colorado, currently standing at 4-1, 2-0 in Big 12 play, heads into this pivotal matchup with Kansas State, Sanders' remarks highlight an ongoing tension between college football's rising viewership numbers and the challenges of catering to a national audience.